And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Tajuto. This is a game about building pagodas, and it's going to be fascinating because in this game, you're actually building these plastic pagodas. Pretty neat. I like the idea of that. It's a really striking looking game. It's made by Reiner Knizia, who is most certainly one of the most famous board game designers. He hasn't made a lot of big games recently. This is one of the bigger ones, and it's done by Super Meeple, who makes some pretty neat stuff. Let's dive in. Over the course of this game, players are going to be building pagodas. Pagodas are built of 6 floors, which all fit on top of each other very nicely. Look how pretty that is. That is a complete pagoda. And you can see the different plastic pieces here. All these plastic pieces are going to be thrown into a big bag here. Each player is going to start with 8 offerings matching the 8 different colors of pagodas, which are red, white, yellow, green, brown, blue, orange, and pink. You're also going to get 3 tiles of your color. And so let's say here I'm the green player, which has nothing to do with the green pagoda. Anyhow, you can, on your turn, use as many tiles as you want. However, you'll notice one of them is free to use. The other 2 cost 4 or 6 meditation points, of which you start with none at the beginning of the game. Now each of these tiles lets you do the same thing. You can draw a tile from the bag, you can do an offering, or buy another tile. There's other tiles to buy here with meditation points. When you draw from the bag, you can feel around. You can't necessarily, you don't know what color you're going to get, but hopefully you can figure out what size you want. So you draw a tile and place it, if possible. You have to build them in order on the spot. When you place a tile, you will get points for you placing that tile. So that gives me 1 meditation point for placing the bottom floor. And then this, for example, would give me 1 point. And then later on, I can put this here, which would give me 2 points for putting this second floor on. Another thing you can do in your turn is you can make an offering, putting your cube of the color on one of these, and then you'll get 1 for each floor, 1, 2, plus 2 for the offering, so that would give you 4 meditation points. So that could give me quite a few more meditation points. If someone builds on top of that, they're going to get 1, 2, 3 for the level, plus 2 for the thing that they covered, the offering they covered. So then they would get 5 points. And you can see how as these get higher and higher, they're going to become worth more and more. Once the last one's put on top, nobody can build on top of that anymore. But if you manage to get this offering here, that's going to be worth 7 points. And then if someone puts this on top, that's worth 8 points. So those are 2 of the things you can do. You can pull tiles from the bag, which can be placed at any point on your turn, or you can make an offering. The third thing you do is buy a tile. Now, many of the tiles that you buy are simply going to be turned upside down, and at the end of the game are going to be worth victory points. So see, this one here is worth 2 victory points. It costs 6, 7, or 8, and they're 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 victory points. Some allow you to take an action very specifically, like this one lets you make an offering. Costs you 12, but now you get an extra action you can take on a turn, making an offering, buying a card, or putting out a level. Some give you a special ability, like this one here, makes all future tiles cost -2 to build, and this one says anything that you get victory points for, you get an extra victory point. So those can be done over the course. You can also buy these. This basically says it's going to be finished. The game ends when the 4th pagoda is finished. If a pagoda is finished and you have this token of this color, it's worth 4 victory points. If it's never finished, it's worth nothing. If it's finished before anyone buys it, then no one gets points for that. There's also things here. If you are the first person to make 8 offerings, you'll take this tile, which is worth a point. First person to reach step 30 on the meditation path to get 10 wisdom points, so on. At the end of the game, whoever is the farthest on the path gets a point, and whoever finished the 4th pagoda, inaugurated the 4th pagoda, will also get a point. These are bonus tiles given out as soon as they are played. That's pretty much the game. As soon as the 4th pagoda is built, the game ends immediately, and whoever has the most points in their tiles is the winner. So, of course, the pagodas are the #1 draw to this game. They look really cool as you're building them up over the course of the game, and it comes with a really nice big giant bag to put them in. Now, you can feel inside for the size you want, and I would have everyone practice because telling the difference between them all is pretty easy once you have a little bit of practice. These small ones can be a little tricky, but honestly, when you're inside the bag, you can kind of feel like, oh, This one fits in this one, so therefore this one can't be the second smallest. It's got to be the third smallest. It's not that big of a deal, but some people may have a problem with that. They look great. They stack great, but the colors, the pagodas are pretty easy to tell apart unless you're colorblind. The colors of the cubes themselves are not thusly. I mean, here's pink, orange, and red, which in good lighting you can tell the difference amongst. Put them in slightly bad lighting, and you can see they all start looking the same. That I found problematic. Also, when you use these tiles on your turn, you're supposed to turn them, or tap them essentially, and they're really small. These could have been cards, I think, and been a little bit better. That being said, I mean, it does have a nice look to it. The whole thing looks pretty cool, but I'm just worried about some of the color problems that the game has. Sometimes I want to like a game so much that when I don't like it, it really bugs me, and this is one of those times. Man, it just looks so cool, but there's nothing to this game. So at the beginning of the game, you got to pull all the things. So you pull the biggest one, 1 point. Next person probably should pull the biggest one. Sure, I could pull the smallest one, but I have the second biggest one, but I have a 1 out of 8 chance to get the same color. So at a certain point, let's say someone pulls at the 4th ground floor, then now you can sit there and go, ooh, the odds are a little better. I have a 50% chance of drawing the next one. But what's going to happen over this game, and it happens all the time, is people are simply going to just sit there and go, what are my best odds at this point in time, and take it. You can go for the long shot, but you're almost always going to fail. And if you do succeed, it doesn't make up for the times you failed and lost your turn, essentially. Knowing when to put an offering is interesting, but betting on a pagoda to finish is just... It's not like other games where you have like some information, like I think this one will finish first. You know, the brown one is up to its 5th floor. It's probably going to finish. But then it might never happen. It's not like we can affect it or anything. You just randomly pull. It may never come up. There's no odds or anything. The odds are the same for everything. And so the colors that come out, just random. That's one problem. It's just that it's completely random, which is fine, I suppose. The second problem is I thought the tile thing sounded neat. Oh, I can use 1 tile, spend 4 to use a second, spend 6 to use a third. I have yet to see anyone ever spend 6 to use the third. It's really expensive to do extra actions. I can wait to my next turn, thank you. I mean, I suppose it's possible, but Then buying those extra ones, they're either points, a few small things that give you better stuff, or the same actions again. It's just the same thing. This game is the same thing. Pull something, put it out. Put an offering. Pull something, put it out. Put it out. Put it out. Get some points. Spend some points. Get some points. And it feels like a half-baked deck builder. And I want it, I mean, I feel like if it's been shown to me, I'd been like, okay, this is a good start, but this game needs to be fleshed out, and it's not. And I think it's almost like it's blinded by the pagodas, like, look at these cool pagodas. Great, but is there a good game in there? And in this case, I think I'm going to have to say no. There's a good concept here, but putting your hand in and feeling around and pulling something out, that's been done before in other games. But, I mean, I suppose someone could pull out the wrong size, and that happens too. And you're like, oh, and that just makes you feel stupid because you could have pulled out the right size, and then someone will sit there for a long time feeling around to try to find the right size, which kind of slows the game down. I don't know. Like I said, I feel like there could have been a game here that's building a pagodas, and this is actually not the only game about building pagodas. But I mean, there could have been something bigger than that in here, and at the end of the day, it's kind of random, but it's also not super fast. It says on here, I think, 45 to 60 minutes. That's too long for how random this is. This is just random pull stuff from a bag, score points, and win. I might have less of a problem with it, but because it has that longer length to it and doesn't have any meaty decisions, you just sit there and go, there's 5 pagodas that are at level 3. I'll pull a level 4 out. That seems to make sense, right? I have good odds at getting that. I didn't. Oh, wow. Your turn. Just, I don't know. I'm not as impressed with this as I want it to be. It looks cool, but unfortunately, it's just glossy nothingness. Dice Tower Judgment, entertaining, but just too random.